Various Thoughts Volume 198, I did watch the video of Tyree Nichols, and it was disturbing, brutal, and my blood ran cold. That was my reaction to it. It's bad enough that you see police officers beating up on an unarmed person. It's even worse when you have 5 now ex-police officers, not to mention they're black, beating up on another black dude over reckless driving. Not only they got fired, they were charged with second-degree murder. Everyone else got fired too. And the one white police officer who, like I say, got fired, a lot of people were angry because they felt that he should have been fired the same day as those 5 ex-police officers. Why they try to hide him? So yeah, and my condolences goes out to the families of the Tyree Nichols, especially his young son who is 4 years old, and it sucks. And everybody who's taking advantage of the situation, from Jason Whitlocks of the world to the internet detectives, want to dig up his tweets and putting him on blast because he said something about black women when he was 19 years old. I'm gonna leave that alone before I say something I'm gonna regret. It's 3:30 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time zone. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Marvel's Avengers. Yeah, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have ended their support in coming September of this year. They're pushing out that free DLC in a month of March, next month in March. And they also announced that it would be like a $80 DLC or something like that. And a lot of fans are looking at them sideways, angry, different type of emotions and reactions from them. And I'm like, can someone please get the Marvel brand away from Square Enix? Because sure, they made a good game in Guardians of the Galaxy, even though I still need to continue to play the game. They butchered the Marvel's Adventures badly. Do I think EA will do any better? They have a track record, and it's not very good. Even though they've done some positive things, we've seen them do some negative things, and we've seen what happened. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I'm watching One Piece on Crunchyroll. I'm at season 16, episode 607. So my brother and I have been watching One Piece since, around 2 years, 3 years tops. So we've been watching different anime, including Yu Yu Hakusho, Japanese dub, English subtitles. We finished that. It's a classic anime. I know why people. Now I know why fans love it. So my brother and I just trying to play catch up with One Piece before they get the premium tag on that series, and I'm gonna be very, very upset if that happens. Now, Various Thoughts Volume 199. Let me get into sports. I did watch Super Bowl 57, but not a lot. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning their second Super Bowl in 3 years. They did their thing. The offense did what they supposed to do. The defense stepped up the offense did struggle in the first half a bit, and it could have gone from bad to worse, but that key turnover, that will happen. Instead of being 21-7, it was 14-all, and that's all. And we saw the result of the game. Now, as far as the Philadelphia Eagles, if they had a 10-point lead, if they would have held on that 10-point lead, if the defense would have found a way to show up in the second half, things would have turned out differently. They would have been the Super Bowl champs. Jalen Hurts was balling. He was. And the fact that people are trying to make it as if, the field was sloppy, this, that, and the third, it's not just the Eagles was complaining. It was also the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, this is the very same team played in that stadium in a season opener against the Arizona Cardinals. You had players from the Kansas City Chiefs complain about that field. So yeah, as far as the officiating, if James Bradbury didn't grab Juju Smith-Schuster, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And speaking of him, I wish he would have took the high road instead of just trolling him and acting all goofy and everything. This is why someone like Jason Whitlock, which I respectfully disagree almost anything that comes out of his mouth, I had to agree with him on this one. James Bradbury took the high road. I wish Juju Smith-Schuster would have done the same. I call that a sore winner, where people will act all crazy and say crazy stuff. Now they're a Super Bowl, they want it, they're part of a championship team. They act differently. They act, like I say, they act goofy. So yeah, I will never understand that. Now, as far as the NBA, a lot of things happen, from Kyrie Irving going from Brooklyn to Dallas Mavericks, Kevin Durant going from Brooklyn to Phoenix Suns. Now all of a sudden the Phoenix Suns are title contenders and all this other stuff. stuff, they got to prove they can get out of the West. They have to prove they have to gel in a hurry. A lot of people are saying the pressure's on them to get out of the West, because we've seen the Phoenix Suns, they choked away a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks 2 years ago, and we saw what happened in the semifinals of the Western Conference when they just completely they didn't just lay an egg, they were a no-show against the Dallas Mavericks. So better hope that the key players stay healthy, otherwise history will repeat itself. From that to the NBA All-Star Game, I heard that slam dunk competition was okay, to the All-Star Game itself was nothing more than embarrassment, an abomination, a disgrace to the game of basketball because nobody was playing defense. But then again, we saw that game the other night with the Sacramento Kings beat the LA Clippers 176 to 175. I'm going to leave that alone, even though it was a double overtime, mind you. So then you have the load management. People are still crushing the San Antonio Spurs. And all I got to say is this. Last time I checked, they had an old roster. Go look at 2014 for the San Antonio Spurs, then come talk to me afterwards. Their players are legitimately hurt. They're players who have a lot of mileage on them, okay? They play hurt, but sometimes they play hurt, sometimes they don't. They sit out. But we see players to just sit out just for the sake of sitting out. Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, James Harden, to name a few. It's sad, really sad. And I agree with Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you ain't hurt, go out and play. Compete. Give the fans what they want. And I have to put some of it on the fans too. I blame them for this one. Ever heard of using technology to see if your favorite team or favorite player is going to come to town, if they're playing or not? Just going in blindly and acting all shocked and everything, that's on y'all. New Era Detroit, they're doing more than just protecting black women in dangerous neighborhoods in Michigan, but protecting, black community in general, having good relationship with the police. They're doing great things, and shout out to them. It's not, they do have a chapter not just in the state of Michigan, but other cities around America. So I'll put the links in the description of that story. Video games. Suicide Squad is going to be a required online internet connection to play solo or co-op. Yeah, and I saw a little bit of the gameplay footage. I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, that's a strike 1, 2, 3. I'm out. I'm tired of internet required video games, especially for a single player game. It drives me nuts. So whatever. As far as Call of Duty and the whole premium situation where fans are losing their mind, not in a good way, they're looking at Activision sideways. Long story short, it was supposed to be a 2-year cycle. Show love for the Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 game, the soft reboot. Now it's going to be premium DLC, going to be paying full price and things in that nature, even though Activision hasn't announced it yet. So it's crazy, head scratching. I don't know why Activision would. I can't say that because, like I said, nope, we haven't heard anything from Activision yet. And they got a 10-year deal with Microsoft and Nintendo in terms of a Call of Duty deal. So with that in mind, what's your thoughts on today's topics? I'm out. I'm going to bed. Peace.